there, but I did not understand. Everybody just they want a position, or they want people to listen to them.
This is the problem. And this comes out in a beautiful pastime, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, where a disciple asked him in a class, we see, Guru Maharaj, that many devotees have been in the Gaudiya Math, that was his organization, the Gaudiya Math, for so long, and yet we see they're not very advanced. But they've attended so many Mangalaritis, so many classes, so much chanting, so many reading, so many books and everything. But they're not, we can tell by their behavior that they're not very advanced. So how do you reconcile that? That's very hard to understand. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati replied, they have intestinal worms. So what does that mean? So if you have worms inside your guts,
they'll eat all the meal.
Yeah, even you're eating the best food. Even you have the food cooked in ghee and halava and puris and paneer sabji and everything, the best food, you're not going to get any nourishment because the worms are eating it all. So what he's saying is that if you have the worms of material desires, like it's saying this verse, desire and hate, right? So if you have these dualities in your consciousness of a desire to be God and to control and joy, and
no matter how you can memorize whole Bhagavatam.
Yeah, you can know the whole Bhagavatam, you can chant 64 rounds a day and everything like that, but it's not gonna work. Actually, it's said if you have these material desires in your heart and then you chant Hare Krishna, that's Krishna, right? So Krishna will give you what you want. So you want a big position and you want to be famous and people to recognize you and everything. Okay, have it. But you won't get pure bhakti. You won't get love of God. You might get the position. You might become the GBC, the temple president, get heaps of money and flash Mercedes car and everything like that, and a beautiful woman or whatever like that. But you won't get pure bhakti. You won't get love of God.
Yeah.
You know, Krishna can give you anything.
Either you get Krishna or Krishna's creation. You can't get both.
That's right. You know, so you got something, but you missed the real thing, the real jewel.
It says that, like, anything you want, Krishna can give you. That bhakti, Krishna doesn't give that easily.
Yeah.
Because in a bhakti, Krishna become a slave of the devotee.
Yeah.
So that's why Krishna doesn't give the bhakti that easy. Yeah. He can give you anything, wife, you want the money, you got a castle, you want a car, anything. But a bhakti, you have to be, really sincere and then just complete surrender. Then.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no question that before we all joined the Hare Krishna movement, we had so many material desires because this is why we came to the material world. But when we go in through that door and surrender to the Guru, at that point we should try our best. We have to try to give up these material desires. We have to try our best to give up these material desires. And that's otherwise it's like rowing the boat with the anchor still in. There was that story about the couple got married.
You can't sail, that anchor is still there.
The couple got married and the boatman was rowing the boat the whole night. And then the sun came up in the morning and they noticed, hey, we're still in the same place. How is that possible? He's been rowing the whole night because they forgot to lift the anchor. So we have to let go of these things. You wanted a power and position and fame and fortune, but if you're serious about wanting to go back to Godhead and love Krishna, you have to realize these things are not good for me. You just have to give them up. And it's hard. It's not easy because we're attached to all these material desires like that. But if we're serious about wanting to go back to Godhead and progressing spiritually, then we have to try our best to let go of them. And the spiritual master is giving us instructions for that purpose, to help us to cut off from these material desires and that. But that's the thing too, are we serious about doing that? Are we serious about following the Guru's instructions? And I mean, there was something came up recently where a disciple was behaving badly, and a devotee questioned the spiritual master, why didn't you do anything about it? You know, you knew your disciple was behaving badly. He was puffed up and everything and like that, and envious and things like that to other devotees and that. Why you didn't instruct him, you know, to not behave like that? And the guru said, well, because he won't listen to me. If I tell him, he doesn't listen to me. So what's the point of me telling him? But then this is the problem, you know, but what kind of disciple are we that, you know, the guru tells you something and you don't follow it? You know, what's that? You're not even a disciple, because disciple means discipline. And what's the first discipline is obedience. You have to be obedient. If you don't want to obey your guru, then why did you get initiated? You don't want to follow his instructions. So what was the purpose of you getting initiated? Just so you could have a name, you know, a spiritual name, and just so you could tell everyone, oh, I'm a disciple of this guru or that guru? It's so superficial. But this is like rowing your boat with the anchor in. You're not going to get anywhere. It's just wasting time. But the problem is that it creates a bad name for the movement and for Prabhupada and everything. Like Prabhupada told his disciples, he said, be very careful how you behave. Because if you behave badly, you give me a bad name. Because everyone's going to think, well, this nutcase is a disciple of Prabhupada. Well, Prabhupada is also must be not a good guru. You know, so you actually give a bad name to the spiritual master if the disciple behaves badly. So, you know, we have to think very seriously, you know, about what we do. You know, we're responsible like that for our actions. Your picture's frozen. Are you still there? Your picture had frozen for a minute.
Yeah, no, I don't know what happened with the connection. I'm using the Wi-Fi from this place. Sometimes it's just playing up.
Sometimes, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
that's all right.
That's right. Yeah.
But I was just saying that, you know, we have to realize, you know, I've taken initiation. I have a spiritual master. It's a very serious responsibility.
Yeah,
it's a big responsibility. Of course, before you get initiated, you do whatever you like. But after you get initiated, you have to think, now I have to be very careful not to, you know, cause any bad name for my spiritual master and like that. And it's a big responsibility.
I mean, like if you're doing good something in the school or university, and people say that, who's that? Oh, he's the son of such and such. Really? And then your father's name being glorified, or mother's name, something. If you do something bad, you say, whose son is that? You know what I mean? The same thing is the spiritual master there.
Same principle.
It's exactly the same. And you have to be really careful to, you know, you're not alone. You're representing Prabhupada.
But this verse lets us know that this is the situation of the whole material world. You've got souls that want to be God and that hate God. And because of that, then there's so many other desires and hatred for everyone else. So what I'm trying to say is, don't be surprised. Why even funky things happen even within a spiritual organization like ISKCON. Don't be surprised. Like Prabhupada said to the devotees, he said, don't be surprised who leaves ISKCON. Be surprised who stays in ISKCON. Because Prabhupada knows what is the situation of the material world. People are so envious and they have so many material desires.
Especially when they get the position, then the tone is changed. You know, in the beginning, they probably will.
So there's going to be, you got to expect there's a lot of people that will fall away from the path. There's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people that don't even start the path. And then there's going to be, even those few people that start the path, there's going to be a lot of people that fall off the path. because
Sure.
this is the scenario of the material world. Everyone's trying to be God. You know, we don't want to serve. We don't want to follow instructions. As Prabhupada said, we're rebels. We're rebellious souls. We're very rebellious. Like Jayanti said, like when I was washing the dishes, making a noise, disturbing the class. Rebel, living with the rebels. You know, it's like that. But we're all rebels in one way or another, you know. So that's our disease, you know. But we got to look in our own heart.
One thing I would like to ask you, that it says that in this verse, bewildered by dualities.
Yeah.
It's like a sometime maybe their past karma as well contribute that in your dualities.
Yeah, of course, because we had those desires and hate in our last lives, that continues on in this life. Because you had that desire in the last life, you got that desire in this life. Because you hated that person in their last life, therefore you hate the person in this life. Sometimes it's,
you know, sometimes if I, for example, Bhakti tree, if I meet 10 people and I meet that, and 10 people, all 10 are just talking about Bhagavad Gita and spirituality, maybe 3 or 4 they are interested in this thing and 6 not.
Yeah.
But I tell all 10 exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
What happened? Why these 3 are listening, not 7 are not, or 4 listening, 6 are not? I think it belongs to either they're inquisitive, or they must be in the past. They did something in the previous life. That's why. But the 7 people, they didn't, and then they're using the free will not to listening.
Yeah, that's expected. So some of them, the heart is a bit cleaner, so they can hear what you're saying, and the others, the heart's a bit dirtier. So what makes the heart cleaner? That's pious activities. And then what makes the heart dirtier? Sinful activities. You know, so people that are more absorbed in, you know, meat eating, intoxication, lust, sex, and gambling, then the heart becomes more cluttered up with dirt. And people that are more pure in their behavior in the past and present life, then it's easier for the message to get through. And if there's less envy there, you know, so it's a case by case. We're all individual souls, and the situation of our heart is all different, you know. Some more cleaner, some more dirtier, like that. They can hear what you say. Like a proud person, they can't hear what you say. But a humble person, will be all ears, you know, and will be very interested to hear. But a proud person, they can't hear anything.
One guy, he comes in a Bhakti tree, he just come and pick up the cigarette butts, like if something left in there, and then he smoke. And I've seen, like, 10 times a day, he just come in there, because now next to the Bhakti tree, there's the tobacconist open. So, and then people just leave that, and then he just come, and he always asks me, do you smoke? I said, no, I don't. And then one day, I want to give him a halwa. I said, I want to give him a prasadam. So if we have a prasadam, he probably will, maybe mercy of Krishna. And then he may be thinking that. And then he's angry with me. He said, do you think I'm homeless? I said, of course you're homeless. You pick up the cigarette on the ground. What do you think, you're a king? He's so angry, and he didn't take the halwa. And I said, okay, that's fine. But he was just like so angry. What do you think? I'm homeless. You give me a halwa. I want to give it the mercy of prasadam. He just picking up cigarette butts. So have some halwa. But he's just like, I don't know what activity he has got. He didn't take my halwa, and he was really have a strange look and angry with me. I said, okay.
No, you did the right thing. I mean, that's the devotee's part, has to be merciful to people by giving them Krishna consciousness. But on their part, they have free choice,
What the Prabhupada said, that 1 kilometer radius, nobody should sleep hungry. 1 kilometer?
Yeah.
3 kilometers.
10 kilometers, yeah.
10 kilometers,
of a Hare Krishna temple, yeah.
Yeah, and 10 kilometers, yeah, should be.
So that's nice. You're doing a good service to Prabhupada like that. Hey, let's read the purport. We've only got a few minutes left.
For sure.
It's only a short purport. Let's just read that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The real constitutional position of the living entity of the subordination of the Supreme Lord, who is pure knowledge. When one is deluded into separation from pure knowledge, he becomes controlled by the illusory energy and cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illusionary energy is manifested in the duality of desire and hate. Due to desire and hate, the ignorant person wants to become one with the Supreme Lord and envies Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pure devotees who are not diluted or contaminated by desire and hate can understand the Lord Shri Krishna appears by his internal potencies, but those who are deluded by duality and nuisance thinks that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energy. This is their misfortune. Such deluded person symptomatically dwell in duality of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and a man, good and a bad, pleasure and pain, etc. Thinking, this is my wife, this is my house, I am the master of the house, I'm the husband of this wife. These are the duality of delusion. Those who are so deluded by dualities are completely foolish and therefore cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So this is the symptoms, how you can tell if someone's in Maya or not, if they're in illusion or not. So if they're in these, like it's mentioned, he gives examples of dualities, because the original duality, right, is desire and hate. So desire to be God and hatred of God, that's the original one. But because of that original one, that's the beginning of many dualities. So like he's mentioned some, honor and dishonor, that's another duality, right? Honor on the other side of the coin, dishonor. Happiness on one side of the coin, misery on the other side of the coin. So that's another duality. Rich on one side, poor, healthy, sick, educated, uneducated, so you got many dualities. But the original duality is this desire and hate of God. So, but if people are living in those dualities, or their mind is absorbed in, I don't want to be poor, I want to be rich, or I want people to respect me, I don't want to be disrespected like that. I just want my body to be healthy. I don't want my body to be sick. I want it to be healthy. Of course, the devotee, like you're doing now, you want your body to be healthy, but it's a different reason. Why do you want your body to be healthy? So you can do more service for Krishna. So that's not a duality. That's Krishna consciousness. But people that just think they're the body, they only, they want the body to be healthy so they can enjoy more sense gratification. So I can have more sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So that's why they want to be healthy, so they can enjoy more sense gratification. So anyone that's absorbed in these dualities, good and bad, rich and poor, black and white, like that. Even like now, right, in Israel, right? Jewish and non-Jewish, Muslim and non-Muslim, is causing so many problems, all these dualities. My land, your land, my land. Israel is my land, Palestine is your land, or so all these dualities causing so much suffering like that.
That's right. Wow.
So this is a sign that the person's influenced by delusion, by moha, by ignorance. And they can't understand God. If you're absorbed in these dualities, it's not possible to understand God. If you want to be God and you hate God, or if you're in any of these other dualities, forget about understanding God. You're going to be covered by ignorance. So we have to get free from these dualities.
And you don't even notice that whenever you're covered by the ignorance and the Maya, you don't even notice. You think you are right. Whatever you think, it's right. I don't know if it's so powerful. And then it just complete, frees your brain and you're doing it. But that's the moment. And that's all precious energy.
Yeah. So how do we get out of these dualities? That's the question. And that's for the mercy of the devotee. By the mercy of the devotee, we can come out. When we meet the devotee, what's that?
Yeah, so you have to surrender one of them.
Yeah, by the mercy of the devotee is giving us the knowledge to snap out of this ignorance. There's all this illusion, snaps us out of the illusion. And they say you're not the body, you're not black, you're not white, you're not a man, you're not a woman, you're not rich, you're not poor. You are a spirit soul, and the spirit soul is a servant of Krishna. Like Prabhupada started off the purport, the living entity is the subordinate. Is that the constitutional position of the living entity is subordination to the Supreme Lord. Subordination means servant. You are subordinate, means you are servant of the Supreme Lord. That's your position, who is pure knowledge. So this is getting free from moha, from illusion, is having this pure knowledge that we are a spirit soul, and the spirit soul is a servant of the Supreme Lord. And immediately you're out of illusion. If you live according to that, that you're not the body, you're a spirit soul, and your only purpose is to serve the Supreme Lord, then you're out of the dualities. You're immediately out of the dualities. But as soon as you go back to, no, I'm a Kiwi, I'm a man, this is this is theirs and this is mine, and I want to control Pakistan or Israel or is my country and stuff, like that, then immediately you're back into dualities again.
It reminds me of that Prabhupada saying, the Hindus thinking of the Muslim and the Muslim is thinking of the Hindu.
Yeah.
And at the time of death, he's still thinking like that, and then he'll come back as a Muslim. Hindu comes back as a Muslim, and Muslim comes back as a Hindu.
Did you hear that, Gulshan?
Yeah.
You heard that? Yeah. So if you're observing dualities, then that causes you to take birth again. Like the Muslim that hates Hindus, because he's thinking about that when he dies, he takes birth. So it's these dualities that lock us into the cycle of birth and death again and again and again. But if you're in the consciousness of, I'm a servant of Krishna, then when you die, then Krishna says, oh, you want to serve me? Okay, come back to the spiritual world. If you want to serve Krishna, are you going to get put in the material world? No. Material world's not the place meant for serving Krishna, the spiritual world. So you want to serve Krishna, well, Krishna's going to take you back to
It's a Dukhalaya.
Dukhalaya, yeah. Yeah, it's a place for suffering, yeah. And the suffering's meant to snap us out of this illusion. That, I came here with the desire to enjoy, to be God, but it's not working out. My desire is not working out. I'm just suffering here. I give up. I don't want to desire that anymore. I used to desire to be God, but I've suffered so much. Now I don't have that desire anymore. So that's the idea. We can use our free choice to give up that foolish desire. I had a foolish desire to be God, but that didn't work out. I suffered so much, and I've realized that I definitely am not God. Now I want to go back to desiring to serve God, and then you can. So that's the idea, that through suffering we eventually give up this foolish desire to think we're the enjoyer. We're not enjoying, we're suffering. So we give up this foolish desire and we serve God again, and then we'd be truly happy devotees. Prabhupada said there used to be hippies and they become happies. They used to be dirty hippies and now they become bright-faced happies.
Happy, yes.
Gone from hippie to happy. Yeah. Well, I'm very glad things are working out for you there, and you're enjoying the